طيب بسم الله والحمد لله صلاة والسلام على الله وعلى آله ومن تمسك بسنته بإحسان الدين. أما بعد, after praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and sending the salutations upon the Messenger alayhi salatu wassalam, and upon his family and his companions, and upon all those who follow upon his guidance into the step of the last day. Proceed, ikhwan. اللهم إنا نعوذ بك من علم لا ينفع ومن قلب لا يخشع ومن نفس لا تشبع ومن دعاء لا يسمع. Verily Allah, we seek refuge with you from knowledge that has no benefit, and from a heart that has no, and from a soul that has no action nor contentment, and from a dua that goes unanswered, and from a dua that goes unanswered. To proceed, ikhwan. فنواصل معكم في هذه الليلة المباركة الكريمة عونا من الرحمن الرحيم. So we continue in this blessed and noble night of ours, seeking the aid and the assistance of our Lord, the most merciful and the most compassionate. مستفيدين متعلمين جميعا من اللغة العربية as we continue to learn and educate ourselves, deriving benefit from the science of the Arabic language. فمن يذكر لنا فائدة تعلمناها قبل, who can give us a benefit from the benefits that we learned previously. حرف الجواب. طيب كلمة طيب الفوائد. طيب the word نعم فتسمى كلمة نعم في لغة العرب حرف الجواب. So as Abdullah Abu Zubayr mentions, the word na'am, the word e. And the word ajal, they are حروف الجواب. Na'am, you can say e, and you can say ajal. They are حروف الجواب. Particles of answering. حرف الجواب. أيضا, who can also give us a benefit تعلمناها قبل, that we learned before.
You mentioned the alif in fi'al al-mudari', and you said it is the fa'al ضمير مستقر was إلى أنا, meaning the door is hidden, is a hidden pronoun that is obligatory, referring back to the word I.
We also mentioned in the مضارع مثلا الدروس في المضارع وفي الأمر. We meant في المضارع وفي الماضي, in the present tense or the past tense.
You said it, and I think you used the word you used was أجد.
طيب أجد.
I found.
طيب أدرس, مثلا أدرس. طيب أدرس, I am studying, or I study, or you can say I study. طيب الألف هنا the alif here تعود إلى أنا دائما وأبدا. This alif here is always going to return back الألف. The alif here طيب الألف ال طيب الألف. The alif here in أدرس is always going to return back to أنا. So the alif, you're going to say ضمير متصل. ضمير متصل. ضمير نعم ضمير متصل يعود إلى أنا أو تعود إلى أنا. يعود إلى أنا. It's going to go back to I. فهو ضمير مستتر متصل يعود إلى أنا. So this is ضمير متصل. I believe we gave مستتر أيضا. مستتر. It's a connected hidden. مستتر pronoun يعود إلى أنا. It's a hidden pronoun. It's there, it's hidden. It goes back to, it's connected. But the فاعل is a ضمير مستتر وجوب تقديره أنا. So the pronoun is attached pronoun and the is hidden. مستتر يعود إلى أنا and it goes back to أنا. No. So let's take this away يا إخوة. So ألف is ضمير متصل, that's hidden. So the فاعل is going to be الفاعل. As for the doer, you're going to say ضمير مستتر نعم وجوب أو وجوبا نعم وجوبا تقديره أنا. تقديره أنا. So as for the doer is ضمير مستتر. It's a hidden pronoun, the doer. وجوب is obligatory that it goes back to أنا. تقديره أنا, which I is I. I am studying. The I is inside of the pronoun. No. لأصحاب الكتب والحمد لله وصلت إلينا بعض واجباتكم. And many of you, alhamdulillah, some of you, we seen your homework in the previous page, the exercises there, alhamdulillah, for Nawasil. So we'll continue, inshallah. بإذن الله تعالى. من له فائدة أخرى? Anyone else have a benefit that we learned previously? طيب. فلعلنا توقفنا على صفحة 127 and perhaps we stop on page number 127. 127. طيب فللواجب علينا أن نطبق وأن نمثل النموذج. So for homework, we have to execute and resemble the homework here, or resemble the example. يدعو المدرس الكتاب على الرف. The teacher placed the book on the roof. فعندنا مثلا بعض الكلمات وبعض الجمل. So we have some words and some sentences. فعلينا أن نجعلها تماثل النموذج. So we have to make our sentence resemble the example. So we have القلم على. So now we're going to bring the مضارع. For example, you make the sentence, you're going to bring the mudari verb, and someone did something to the pen. And then ala. So now the pen is ala shay. The pen is upon something. So you could bring whatever you wish from your kalimat, your vocabulary. Someone did something to the pen, and placed the pen or did whatever he did with the pen or she did with the pen on something. So you use part of the sentence they gave us and you can make it as you wish. So number one, al-qalamu ala. Man lahu shay. Who has an example for number one? Al-qalamu ala. Right, bring the mudari of the verb. Make someone did something to the pen and now it's on something. Qalamu ala shay. The pen is on something. Al-qalamu, someone did something to the pen. Now the pen is on something. Place the pen somewhere. قلم ابني قلم الابن على المكتبة. طيب قلم الابن على المكتبة. قلم الابن على المكتبة. So you say that the pen of the boy is on the desk or is in the library. طيب أحسنت. من له أو لها جملة أخرى? Anyone has a different sentence? Another sentence? طيب لا بأس. أين المضاف؟ أين المضاف إليه؟ مضاف. What do we have tonight يا إخوان? Let's see, do we have نادية أبو زبير أم آلية أم سكينة. طيب أم آلية أين المضاف؟ أين المضاف إليه؟ طيب لا بأس. أم سكينة أين المضاف؟ أين المضاف إليه؟ السلام عليكم. طيب قلم ابن. طيب مضاف، الابن مضاف إليه. طيب قلم مضاف، المضاف and الابن المضاف إليه. طيب أستاذ أبو زبير أين اسم مجرور؟ Where is the genitive noun? أحسنت. المكتبة. جميلا. طيب نمشي يا إخوان. Let's continue إن شاء الله. المضاف إليه. طيب اسم مجرور. اسم مجرور. The اسم مجرور. The noun, the genitive noun is المكتبة. المكتبة. طيب sentence number 2. اسم مجرور is المكتبة. So the genitive noun is مكتبة. The genitive noun is مكتبة. جميلا. Our sister says, did you say Alia? No, we mentioned you. We called on you. Perhaps you didn't hear us. That. Alia. أين حرف الجر? قلم ابني على المكتبة. أين حرف جار؟
على.
حرف جار is على. حرف جر على. أحسنتم. طيب الجملة الثانية sentence number 2. المسطرة على. ست نذيرة تفضلي. المسطرة على.
يدعو الولد المفترض
يدعو
على
الولد.
كرسي.
مرة ثانية ومتام. يدعو الولد المسطرة. نعم.
الولد المفترض على كرسي.
على الكرسي. جميلا. طيب ندعو الحركات. Let's place our vowels إن شاء الله. طيب our sister says يضع Sorry, just take this out of the way. الولد المسطرة على الكرسي. جميلا. على الكرسي. The boy placed the ruler upon the chair. جميلا. طيب the boy placed the ruler on or upon the chair. طيب يضع فعل ماضي أو فعل مضارع أو فعل أمر. يضع past. طيب فعل ماضي فعل مضارع أو فعل أمر. من يجيب؟ أنت.
ماضي.
Our sister says ماضي. يضع. تقربتي close. يضع. Hey, يضع is من قال. Who mentioned? يضع is فعل أو الفعل المضارع. نعم فعل المضارع. يضع is a present tense verb. Present tense verb. الفعل المضارع. جميلا. Hi, whose turn?
Alan.
تفضلي.
The boy placed. That place was past tense.
طيب, if you say the boy plays, طيب, in my translation, that is in my translation. طيب,
okay.
Let's make it a little easier or a little more clear. So the boy is placing.
Okay.
You know, or you can say the boy places, like that. The mudari' in English is more like the present continuous, or it can also be like he's doing it. It don't have to be right now. He does it. He prays. If you make it the present continuous, he is praying. So they both fit for the mudari'. No. طيب السؤال الثاني. Question number 2. لماذا المسطرتا في المنصوب أو في النصب? Why is مسطرة المسطرتا? Why is it accusative? And يجيب. Who can answer? Because our sister says it is the مفعول به مسطرتا. So it is the مفعول به مفعول به. ما هي القاعدة تعلمناها تتعلق بالمفعول به? What's the principle that we memorized that's connected to the مفعول به? Active particle. That the مفعول به منصوب دائما. Accent. That the مفعول به is always accusative. That's a principle. We memorize that principle. Alhamdulillah. Memorize that principle يا إخوان. المفعول به منصوب دائما. ده مفعول به عول. طيب مفعول به منصوب دائما. منصوب دائما. The مفعول به is always accusative. If it's not accusative, it's not the مفعول به. So the مفعول به منصوب شبه فتحة دائما. The مفعول به is always منصوب, always accusative, always. طيب الثالثة number 3. Whose turn? هنا الصحيفة على, الصحيفة على. ارفعي قليلا, raise your voice like. الصحيفة على المكتب, الصحيفة على المكتب. كمالا الصحيفة على المكتب. The newspaper is on the desk. الصحيفة على المكتب. Alright, أين, whose turn for the question? أبو زبيد, أين المبتدأ? Where's the subject of the sentence? الصحيفة مبتدأ. Is the subject. الصحيفة is المبتدأ. أحسنت. طيب عارفين الخبر. Where's the خبر?
على المكتب.
الصحيفة is the المبتدأ, the subject. على المكتب is the predicate. أحسنت. So على, you're gonna write على المكتب is الخبر, is the predicate. Sister Nadira, أي نوع الخبر هذا? Which type of predicate is this? What type of خبر rather is this?
بعرف. معرفة.
طيب لا بأس. من يعينها? Who can help our sister يا إخوان? شبه الجملة. شبه الجملة. You have the خبر. طيب. When you have the حرف الجار and the اسم مجرور, or you have the ظرف and the مضاف and the مضاف إليه. طيب. This is called, this خبر is called شبه جملة. شبه جملة. It looks like a sentence. It's not a sentence by itself, but it looks like a sentence. So this is called شبه جملة. That which looks like or resembles a sentence. شبه جملة. So we're going to study more of that when we get to grammar. By the time we get to our grammar book, Allahu Akbar, you guys are going to breeze through grammar. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Most of the general points of grammar, we went over them. A lot of the grammar, the general points. We don't go over a lot of details, but in general. طيب نواصل. Let's continue يا إخوان. طيب الدفتر على. Give us the دفتر على. Bring the مفعول به. تستان آلية تفضلي. الدفتر على.
يدعو يدعو الطفل الدفتر على الرف.
يدعو الطفل الدفتر على الرف. يدعو الطفل the child he placed الدفتر على الرف. He placed the book he placed the notebook on the shelf. جميل. You can say that. The child places or place the child places the notebook on the shelf. You can say that. طيب. Back around. أبو زبير. الحقيبة في. الحقيبة في. Give us a مفعول به with حقيبة. Something about the bag is in something.
يدعو رجل
Yeah.
حقيبة
Yeah.
على
على الدرج. You can say that. على الدرج. جميلا. الدرج. طيب. يضع الرجل الحقيبة على الدرج. The man placed the bag upon the desk. The man placed or places the bag upon the desk. You can say that. جميلا. كان سهلا يا اخوان. This drill was easy for you. الحمد لله. طيب. الفاعل. سكينة. أين الفاعل? Where is the doer? ارفعي قليلا. Raise your voice slightly. أحسنتي. الرجل. The doer is الرجل. The man. أحسنت. The man is the doer. So we said, where is the doer? الرجل. The man is the doer. أحسنت. طيب. نمشي. Let's continue. الورقة على. الورقة على. Give us a مفعول به. Sister Nadira. ورقة على. The page or the paper is on what? Bring a مفعول به for it.
مكتبة.
طيب. لا بس you can say that. الورقة على المكتبة أو مكتبتي.
مكتبتي.
أحسنت. المكتبة. الورقة. The paper or the page can also be a leaf on the desk or the library. So the page can also be the leaf from a tree is on the desk. طيب. أحسنتم. طيب. نمشي يا إخوان. Let's continue إن شاء الله. طيب. أي صفحة؟ طيب. أين أجد صحف اليوم؟ طيب. Next drill. أين أجد صحف اليوم? Where can I find the papers of today? They want us to use what's between the brackets. تجدها. You're going to use the ضمير المتصل. So now we're going to use the pronoun. تعلمنا هذا قبل. We learned this before. Substituting the noun for the pronoun. طيب فمن صحف 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 use the ها طيب فنقول تجدها تجدها such and such and such and such. So he's asking, where can I find today's newspaper, today's paper? So you say تجدها, you find it. The it goes back to صحف. تعلمنا القاعدة تتعلق بالضمير. We mentioned the principle that's connected to pronouns before. يجب على الطالب أن يعلم أو أن يعلم شيئين. That the students have to know two things regarding pronouns. Two things. ما هما? Who remembers? What are they? Alright, then العدد. Alright, let's take this alif away. العدد والجنس. All you have to know is the number and the gender. If you got that, you have it. You can identify the number, mufrad, muthanna, al-jam'. Is it the singular? Is it the dual? Is it the plural? You got it. Gender and the number. If you can do that, Allah Akbar. فمثلا, we say for example, هل رأيت الشيخ اليوم؟ هل رأيت الشيخ اليوم? So you say to someone, تتكلم مع الشخص, you're talking to someone, you say هل رأيت الشيخ اليوم? Have you seen the sheikh? Have you seen the scholar today? Have you seen the sheikh, the scholar today? فنبدل الشيخ للضمير. So we're going to substitute the sheikh for a pronoun. If we know the adad and we know the gender, we know a pronoun to use. A sheikh mufrad. The sheikh is singular. The word sheikh is mufradun, singular. The word الشيخ. كيف عرفنا أن الشيخ مفرد? How do we know the word sheikh is singular? كيف عرفنا أن الشيخ مفرد? How do you know the word sheikh is singular? من يعلم? Who knows يا إخوان? Our sister says ألف واللام. طيب تقربتي. Close.
So عفوا the
الفتحة. تقربتي. Close. من يعينها? Who can help our sister out يا إخوان? This is last year's review. This is the Ta'bir book. Our first book we learned together as a group. How do you know a sheikh is mufrad, is singular? Sakina was there. Alhamdulillah. كيف عرفتي Sakina? How do you know Sakina a sheikh is mufrad? Where's Sheikh Nakir? Where's Sheikh Nakir today, ya ikhwan? Sheikh Nakir was there. Where's our sheikh? Our sister Mother, Sister Zakiya. Where's Sister Zakiya today, ya ikhwan? طيب. أي نعم. The mufrad. كيف عرفنا أن الشيخ? How do you know that the word sheikh is singular? Our sister says alif lam. She agrees with Alia. طيب. Alif lam is here. طيب. انظر يا إخوان. الألف واللام قد تسبقان المفرد. صح. The alif واللام, it can come on the singular word. Yes, that's true. You can say masjidu. Alif lam. طيب. You can also say al masjidani. The two masajid. Alif lam. You can also say al masajidu. Plural. The three or more mosques. طيب. الشاهد, what's the point here?
That you can use the alif lam with singular or plural.
You can use alif lam on the mufrad. You can use alif lam on the muthanna. You can use alif lam on the jam'. فالالف واللام ليس علامة للمفرد. So therefore, the alif lam is not a sign that the word is singular. طيب, our sheikh says, I'm here يا أخي. طيب, our beloved sheikh, salam alaikum. This question is for our sheikh. Help us out, ya sheikh. We mentioned the word sheikh. How is your word? Alhamdulillah. You came just in time. The word sheikh. We mentioned that it's singular. It's mufradun. How do you know it's mufrad? Everyone else forgot. Our sister wasn't there. We'll give Sister Nadira a pass. Half a pass.
That is plural. Is that why?
Half a pass, because although she wasn't there, by now she should have went back and got some of the lessons from earlier. Alhamdulillah. So perhaps we'll give her half a pass. She wasn't there, but we'll give her maybe 70% of a pass. Our sister Umalia says what?
There are no signs to show that it's plural.
There's no signs to show that it's plural. طيب, أعطيكي نصف الأجر. We'll give you half a reward here. Our sheikh said, sorry for being late. لا بأس يا sheikh. Better late than, how do people say? Better late than never. May Allah bless you. المتأخر يستلم فائدة أيضا أحيانا. The one that's late can get a benefit also, يا إخوان. Alhamdulillah. طيب, we give Ali half a reward. She says there's nothing on the word sheikh to show that this is a plural. That's true. We learned two parts, يا إخوان. اكتبوا هذا. Write this down, يا إخوان. لعلكم نسيتم. Perhaps you forgot. Write this down. المفرد. تعريف المفرد. Write this down, يا إخوان. المفرد. What is the mufrad? Don't just write singular. No, that's a translation. Now I want you to learn what it means. You're going to write المفرد ما ليس بالمثنى ولا الجمع. Ali was half correct. You're going to write ما ليس بالمثنى ولا الجمع. I think we gave you this one. I think I gave you an easy one, يا إخوان. طيب, no, don't write down. We gave you an easy one. That's Ajurmiya's definition. I believe we gave you نحو واضح definition. You're going to write الذي يدل أو ما دل على الواحد. نعم. ما يدل على شيء واحد. I believe we gave the easy definition. ما يدل على شيء واحد. This is the answer, يا إخوان. How do you know it's a singular? Because it only points to one. ما يدل على شيء واحد. That which points to one. That which points to one thing. It points to one is the mufrad. There's another ta'arif on another level. When you say ما ولا بجمع, there's another definition you can memorize too, ya ikhwan. We gave this first one, as this is the easiest one. Other scholars go a step further. They say, what Ali began to mention, half of what she said, that which is not the muthanna and is not the plural. So it's the same thing, they just say it differently. And you find that a lot in grammar. Same definition, but he's saying it in an easier way. So if you understand this, ما يدل على شيء واحد, you got it. That which points to one thing. If it points to one thing, it's a mufrad. If it points to more than one, it's not a mufrad. So you can also write this one down too. Both of them are correct. They're saying the same thing in a different way. ما ليس بالمثنى, that which is not a dual. ولا الجمع, and is not a plural. Same thing in a different way. If something is pointing to one thing, then it can't be the dual and it can't be the plural. ما ليس بالمثنى. الجمع, that which is not the dual and neither the plural. That which is not the dual nor the plural. You can memorize anyone you wish. They're saying the exact same thing in a nice way, in a different way. So you can learn the first way. ما يدل على شيء واحد, that which points to one thing. And if you understand that, if it points to two, it can't point to one. If it points to two or more, it can't point to one. So you can memorize any one of these you wish. Last year we learned the first one. They're saying the same thing. Some scholars say the mufrad is ما يدل على شيء واحد. And this is our Shaykh al-Masna'i, his definition. And the ulama of grammar, that which points to one thing. Others say ما ليس بالمثنى ولا الجمع, that which is not the dual, nor is it ماذا, the plural. If you know one thing, then you know its opposite. If you know the mufrad, then you know the muthanna. If you know the muthanna, then you know the jama', if you really know them. Sometimes you can identify something by removing it, by saying that which is not this. For example, the Sahih Hadith. Hadith. El Hadith al Sahih. The authentic Hadith. You can identify the authentic Hadith by knowing what are the other two types of Hadith. Hadiths are divided, or Hadith are divided into two, are divided into three types. Al Hadith al Sahih, the authentic Hadith. The authentic Hadith. You can say Al Hadith الذي لا يكون حسنا ولا ضعيفا. You can also say the authentic Hadith, what is it? It's the Hadith that is not hasan nor da'if, or the Hadith that is not da'if nor hasan. So you want to break it down easy. If you know the three Hadith, you can remove one of them if it doesn't fit the other two. Then it's the other one by default. There are only three types of Hadith. So you say the Sahih is the Hadith that is not da'if, nor is it hasan. So there's only one type of Hadith left. Has to be Sahih. Many scholars do it like that. Right? So we'll give you an easy way. Al-Hadith Sahih. You can say الذي ليس ضعيفا ولا حسنا. You can say الذي ليس بضعيف ولا حسن. So that's how many of the ulama make it easy. If there's only two types of things, or three types of things, the thing is not this nor that, then it has to be the last one by default. So you say, الذي is the hadith that what? Laysa bida'if is not weak. Wala hasan, and it's not hasan. So there's only one other hadith left. Any hadith that's not da'if and that's not hasan has to be sahih, because there's only 3 types of hadith. So this is an example of that, to make something easy by mentioning, removing the other 2. It's not this and it's not that, so it has to be this. Right? There's only 3 types of fasting. The fast is obligatory, the fast is recommended. Some scholars say 2. The fast is obligatory, fast is recommended, and then the fast that's obligatory is divided into 2 types, and then the fast is recommended is divided into 1 type. For those that say 2 types, what is the voluntary fast? The fast that is not obligatory. What is the obligatory fast? The fast that is not voluntary. Easy. So many scholars, they make it easy, ikhwan. And may Allah bless you all. Alright, man lahu su'al. Who has a question, ya ikhwan? Our sister says I'll be back in a few minutes. So you can say the hadith that is not da'if. A hadith that is not da'if nor hasan. There's only one left. If it's not da'if and it's not hasan, then it has to be sahih. That's it. So the word that points to one is mufrad. So the word that is not the muthanna nor is the jama', then it has to be the mufrad. So shaykh, how do we know shaykh? Let's see if we're paying attention. How do we know shaykh is? Who can answer? Because it points to one. The mufrad is what points to one, and shaykh is only pointing to one. So shaykh points to one. Or you can say in another way, it doesn't point to 2, nor does it point to 3. So how do you know shaykh is mufrad? You say yadullu ala wahid. It only points to one. Yadullu ala shay'in wahid. That's it. Then you apply the definition. Right? Yadullu ala shay'in wahid. What points? One thing. That's it. So shaykh is singular. How do you know? It only points to one. There's no sign. You guys are looking for a sign. So you said alif, dhamma, fatha. No sign. No. You gotta look at the meaning. Sometimes you gotta look at the sign, and that's the majority. Sometimes you have to look at the meaning of a word. Let's see what's paying attention, ikhwan. نقول Allah. Let's say the word Allah. Allahu. Allahu ism. Allah's an ism. Right? كيف عرفنا? How do you know it's an ism? How do you know it's a noun? Ends in tanween. Hey, my God. So now our shaykh lines. Allah. With regards to Allah, no tanween, but give us another sign. Not Allahun, not a tanween, but it's mufrad. It is singular. What's another sign that you know Allah is a noun? It is singular. Our sister Nadira said, Alif Lam. Good. Allahu. We give you a benefit about Allah. Is always going to have an Alif Lam. That's a benefit. The word Allah always is ma'rifah. Our sister says alif wal lam. Allah. Correct. A sign is alif wal lam. Accent. On Allah is always going to have alif wal lam. طيب. Now give me a way that you knew it was a noun. طيب. First give me some more signs that you know it's a noun. What else can you identify that it's a noun with from the signs? So we have Sheikh Nakir said it's mufrad. Good. But remember, a noun can also be muthanna, and a noun can also be jam'. Our sister says alif lam. That's a good example. Alif lam is only for nouns. Alif lam is not for particles. Alif lam is not for verbs. If you see alif lam, you know it's a noun. طيب. It can also accept harf jar in front of it. You can say billah. It also accepts kasra. You can say lillahi. طيب. Now let's give you another one without a sign. طيب. Write the word Allah. Alright, we'll give you another way to identify it without looking at it. Now let's go to the meaning. What is a noun? This is last year's class. What is a noun? الاسم ما يدل على طيب في اللغة ما يدل على المسمى. In the language, a noun is anything that has a name. In the grammatical meaning, ما الكلمة التي تدل على معنى في نفسها ولم تقترن بالزمان. طيب, we're going to learn this again in grammar. I don't think we mentioned the grammatical meaning of a noun. I don't think we mentioned the grammatical meaning of a noun. طيب, ism in the language, I believe we learned this in our Tabir class. ما يدل على مسمى. Anything that points to something having a name is a noun. المسمى. ما يدل على مسمى. Anything that points to a name is a noun. Now this is the meaning. You all mentioned the signs. It's the meaning of a noun. ما يدل, write this down, على المسمى. That which points to something having a name. If you can give it a name, it's a noun. Anything that has a pen. We gave it a name. We named it a pen. It's a noun. Saboratu, a board. We gave it a name. Sabora. It's a noun. Masjidun. Ism. We call this building a masjid. Name. Masjid. So grammatically, and this is the point. Grammatically, you're going to write kalimatun tadullu ala ma'na fi nafsiha. It's a word that has a meaning in itself. Some words need other words to give it a meaning. Some words don't. Nouns don't need another word to give it a meaning or to identify it. No, it has a meaning in itself. So grammatically, you're going to write, if you don't get this now, once again, ya ikhwan, it's going to come when we get to grammar. This is just the preliminaries of grammar like we usually do. Give us some benefits. So you're going to write, kalimatun tadullu ala al-ma'ana. It points to a meaning. Where is this meaning? Inside of itself. Ala ma'ana fi nafsiha. I want you to write this down for homework. Fi nafsiha. Two parts. Second part. Walam taqtarin bizaman. And it's not connected to time. So write this down. We're going to memorize this for homework, inshallah. 10 times each. A noun in the language, ما دل على مسمى وما يدل على المسمى that which points to something having a name, or points to a name. Anything that you can give a name. Grammatically, remember the scholars of grammar are one, and the scholars of the language are another. Two separate sciences, like the science of hadith and the science of mustalah, or the science of hadith and the science of ilm al-rijal. You can memorize hadith, but you don't know the men of the chain. You may know the types of hadith, but you don't know who's reliable, who's not reliable. That's another science of hadith. Hadith is general. Ilm al-rijal is specific. Sheikh Albani wasn't a great memorizer, no. But he was a great scholar of knowing the men of the hadith. He can give you the men of the chain. He can run down the chains to you. And then you have some scholars who memorize the hadith who may not study the asanid of the chain and the men of the chain. He can't tell you this man met this man. Or if you see him narrating from him, he's weak. Two different sciences. One is general, one is specific. So you can be a scholar of the language generally. And specifically, you may not know the intricate details of it. So, generally, a noun is anything that has a name. Grammatically, a noun, they have a different meaning. Kalimatun, a word that points to a meaning within itself. That's what I want you to memorize. Al-ma'ana fi nafsiha. A word that points to a meaning. Where is this meaning? In itself. It doesn't need another word to give you the meaning. No. Nouns have meanings within themselves. So, ala nafsiha, second part, walam taqtarin bizaman. And it is not connected to time. Nouns have nothing to do with time. Father. Good. Mm. Now they have adjectives too. Yes, they do. No. In that aspect, it's the same in English, but the order changes. In English, the adjective comes first. In Arabic, the adjective comes after the noun is describing. In English, it's the same rule here, but the order changes. We'll give an example of that, inshallah. All right, let's finish this part here and then Sheikh Nakir's point. All right, so the noun, you're going to write the word that points to a meaning inside, pay attention here, of itself. التي تدل على معنى في نفسها. It points to a meaning. Where is this meaning? Inside of herself. Meaning inside noun. في نفسها. Inside of the noun, herself. Second part. ولم تقترن بالزمان. And it is not connected to time. Memorize that, ya ikhwan. Two parts of a noun. You can say three parts if you wish. It points to a meaning with inside herself. First part. Points to a meaning inside of itself. وَلَمْ تَقْتَرِنْ بِالزَّمَانِ, and it is not connected to time. Has nothing to do with time. Has nothing to do with time. So the noun, two parts. It's the word that points to a noun, points to a meaning inside of itself. وَلَمْ تَقْتَرِنْ بِالزَّمَانِ, and it is not connected to. So like Sheikh Nakir is saying here, طيب, is it the same in English? Remember, some grammatical points are the same in English, and most grammatical points are the opposite. Some are the same, some are different. So in English you say the tall man. In English you say the tall man. طيب, tall here is the adjective. طيب, in Arabic you say الرجل الطويل. Same. Adjective, adjective. Tall is the adjective. طويل is the adjective. Alhamdulillah. But the order is different. الرجل. In Arabic, the adjective, توصيفة, comes after the noun. In English, it comes before. So in English, you say the tall man. In Arabic, you say the man tall. طيب. So they're the same there, but the order is different. So now look at الرجل. الرجل. Write this down يا إخوان. اكتبوا هذا. الرجل. الرجل كلمة تدل على معنى صح. رجل is a word that points to a meaning. طيب. It's a word. كلمة تدل على معنى. It points to a meaning. But where is this meaning? Meanings can be inside. Meanings can be outside. If the meaning is inside, it can be two things. If it's inside, it can be a noun. It can be a verb. If it's outside, it's a particle. So the first part, a word that points to a meaning. The first part. Where is meaning? Is it inside the word? Yes. Rajulun has a meaning. It's a name of a gender, opposite of a woman. طيب. Where is this meaning? Inside of it. Meaning it doesn't need another word to explain it. No, the meaning is inside. وَلَمْ تَقْتَرِنْ بِالزَّمَانِ, and it is not connected to time. وَلَمْ تَقْتَرِنْ بِالزَّمَانِ, and it is not connected, has nothing to do with time whatsoever. Nouns are not connected to time. You don't say the man, what time? Past or present tense or future? No, it has nothing to do with time. وَلَمْ تَقْتَرِنْ بِالزَّمَانِ, and we say, and it is not connected to time. And it is not connected to time. So nouns have nothing to do with time. Articles have nothing to do with time. Only one type of word is connected to time, and they are verbs. So nouns, we're going to ask two things, three if you will. It's a word that points to a meaning. What is this meaning? في نفسها, in itself. في نفسها, inside of herself. Points to a meaning. في نفسها, inside of her, meaning the noun. in itself. Not outside of herself, no, inside of herself. Second part, is it connected to time or not? If it's connected to time, it's a verb. Not connected to time, a noun. That's it. So when we get into grammar, it's going to get a little bit more technical. That's why we're trying to delay slightly until we get a little bit more vocabulary. What I think we may do first, as I mentioned earlier, the subject that we haven't studied yet, and that's hadith. My favorite subject. People think that Arabic is my favorite subject, ikhwan, but it's not really. I love Arabic, but it's not my favorite subject. طيب. At any rate, may Allah make us like Sheikh Muqba, ya ikhwan, that you study something so much that people think it's your strongest subject. In reality, it's not. طيب. As the Sheikh, people forgot, his is kind of backwards. He excelled so much in hadith that the people forgot he was a scholar of the language. At any rate, so hopefully we're deciding we're either going to do the either we're going to do the nahu first or the hadith. We did some grammar first, but I want us to get a little bit more vocab. Inshallah, we may do grammar second. I think we're going to do hadith first, but hadith is going to be tricky, ikhwan, because the hadith book, let's see if we can bring it up, inshallah. طيب, and level, and then we'll stop here, inshallah. Level 2 is probably going to be the most difficult level thus far. Level 1 is general. Let's see if we can find our folder here. طيب, where's my folder? Bismillah. طيب. Where's our Arabic? Bismillah. And we'll stop after this, ya ikhwan. طيب, level 2 has about 8 books. طيب, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I believe one of these are the same. I think I got Tabir twice. طيب, the hadith book, there's a sarf book, there's a grammar book, there's a Quran book, there's a hadith book. طيب, the one subject we didn't do 3 subjects yet, but we touched on grammar and we touched on sarf as we point out the benefits. But the subject that we barely talked about so far, but not this one, ikhwan, is hadith. I wanted to show you how the hadith one is. But the thing I'm kind of afraid of is that I want us to memorize it too. So we're going to memorize the hadith. So the same thing, the same way the Sheikh, he did the Quran, he learned the suwar, recited the suwar, and then he breaks down suwar in Arabic. Allahu Akbar. He does the same thing in hadith. So he teaches us the hadith. We're going to go over the hadith. And then, over the hadith, we're going to memorize the hadith, write the hadith 10 times each. We're going to memorize them, and then he chops it down grammatically. And he gives us the meaning of the hadith in Arabic. So, for example, so maybe about 20 hadith on each level, except level 1. So, it gives a hadith in level 2, 25 hadith or so in level 3, 25 hadith or so in level 4. So, by the time we get done, you memorize almost 100 hadith. طيب. So, he gives us the hadith here. We memorize the hadith, and then he chops down the hadith grammatically. Each word, he gives us the grammatical meaning of the word. So this is one of the best ways to study the Quran and hadith, by learning it in Arabic. So either we may do hadith. I want to save the Nahu and Sarf to maybe our 3rd or 4th book. So let's do maybe hadith first. That's the only thing we didn't do yet in our program yet. We did some grammar generally. We did some sarf generally. We did Quran, mashallah. We did the whole book of Quran. We did the Tabir. We did the Dalil Mu'allam, the teacher's guide. So now let's do some hadith first. So he gives us only small hadith. Then he chops it down. Then he gives us the drills about the hadith, all grammatically. And then next hadith. So it's a real nice program. And then he asks us about the hadith in Arabic. So that's a quiz about the hadith. And then hadith number 2. All small narrations, easy to memorize. But now we learn them in Arabic. Right? So this is inshallah. We'll still mention what everyone thinks, and then we'll pray about it, and then we'll make a decision at the end, inshallah ta'ala. Right? So we'll stop there, inshallah. Anyone have anything they want to mention, they can do so. If not, then we'll stop there, inshallah ta'ala. Right? So I believe I have everyone's. If I haven't sent you the hadith yet, then you should be expecting our email soon. Inshallah, we'll try to send it out. Inshallah ta'ala after the class. So I know Sister Nadira, the brother Abdullah didn't have it also. I think you have it already, Sheikh Naki. I think I sent you this, and I think Abu Zubayr, you should have it also. Some people have it. Do you remember having the hadith book? Okay, well, I'll make sure everyone has it, inshallah. Huh? No, you can check your OneDrive or your directly to your email. Inshallah. All right. I sent it to some people already, but I'll make sure everyone has it before we start. Inshallah. Okay, no problem. I'll make sure everyone has it, inshallah. Right. Also, this book is small, ya ikhwan. It's only about 120 pages or so. So I think it's about 20 hadith. A lot of hadith. Each book is about 20 hadith. So we're going to learn them in Arabic, inshallah, and then memorize the vocabulary and the grammatical points. 14. I think it's about 20 hadith. Let me see, ikhwan. And then we'll stop there, inshallah. خمسة عشر. Maybe this one has 15. Right? Okay, I'll make sure everybody has it, inshallah, by the time we're done. Inshallah. And may Allah bless you all. Alright, so we'll stop there, ikhwan. For homework, just continue to read the lesson. Inshallah ta'ala. We didn't finish the drills. We'll continue, inshallah. We stopped here on exercise number 8. We're going to continue. We'll be substitute the proper noun for the pronoun, inshallah. So you continue on page number 120, right, on 129, inshallah. Exercise number 8. And we'll stop, inshallah. Our sister says, how long does the book take to complete? If you look at the Alia just sent the link. If you look on the free conference, you can click the link there, and that's the hadith book there. The book is going to take as much as long as we take to memorize. We try our best to, if the whole group, we're not going to wait for everyone, but we're not going to go fast so everyone cannot memorize it. We're going to do it the way we do. We take our time to memorize. By the second class, everyone should have it memorized, inshallah. But if most of the people have it memorized, we'll continue. If no one has it memorized, then that's something different. We may give a day or so. But hopefully, we take a day between our classes. So we should be able to memorize a hadith in 2 days, inshallah. If not in Arabic, especially in English. So we want to try to memorize the hadith to the best of our abilities and then get the grammatical points. So for those that memorize it, we're going to ask you to recite it like we did in the Quran. And then we'll continue with the grammatical benefit, inshallah. And may Allah bless you. So it shouldn't take too long. Alhamdulillah, we try not to explain too much and just let the book explain and maybe comment. Not as much as we normally do, inshallah. So it shouldn't take us too much. I don't think we haven't really gotten behind with the Quran. Everyone was on a good pace with those smaller surahs there. Alhamdulillah. Hadith, this is our first hadith, but many of you have begun to memorize hadith already, so this shouldn't be your first time memorizing. If so, then we take our classes are Monday, Wednesdays, and Saturdays, so we have a day in between. Alhamdulillah. So it shouldn't be too difficult on you. And may Allah bless you all. If you need another day or so, that's fine. It's going to get harder when we start getting up there in number because we want you to memorize them. We want to review them, inshallah. So we may take a day to review. If somebody memorize all 5, for example, okay, recite all 5, like that. So we're going to try to keep it together as our goal is to memorize the narrations, inshallah ta'ala. So we'll stop there, ikhwan. فَإِنْ أَصَبْتُ فَمِنَ اللَّهِ وَإِنْ أَخْطَأْتُ فَمِنْ نَفْسِي. Anything that we said that's correct is from Allah. Anything we said is incorrect is from ourselves. And may Allah bless you all. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.